the fundamental architecture of a life that can withstand anything. What is the architecture of character? It's the deliberate, methodical construction of principles that remain unshakable regardless of circumstances. It's understanding that your reputation is what others think of you, but your character is who you are when no one is watching. It's recognizing that every choice you make either strengthens or weakens the foundation upon which your entire life rests. Why is this foundation so crucial? Because without it, success becomes a burden and failure becomes devastating. With it, success cannot corrupt you and failure cannot destroy you. Your character becomes the lens through which all experiences are filtered, transforming both triumph and tragedy into opportunities for deeper wisdom and stronger resolve. How do you build this architecture? Through daily acts of integrity so small they seem insignificant. Return the extra change given by mistake. Keep promises made to yourself as seriously as those made to others. Tell the truth, even when lies would be more convenient. Treat subordinates with the same respect you show superiors. I once encountered a judge who presided over cases for 40 years without a single decision being overturned on appeal. When asked about his remarkable record, he explained that he had never made a ruling based on convenience, pressure, or personal benefit. Instead, he had trained himself to ask only one question in every case: what does justice require? This unwavering commitment to principle had gradually transformed him into something rare, a person whose character had become indistinguishable from his purpose. 7. Solitude's sacred wisdom. In a world that mistakes constant connection for meaningful relationship and endless activity for productive purpose, the ability to thrive in solitude has become a rare and precious skill. But solitude is not about isolation or antisocial behavior. It's about cultivating such a rich inner life that you become genuinely interesting to yourself. What is solitude's sacred wisdom? It's the understanding that all meaningful growth happens in the quiet spaces between external demands. It's recognizing that your relationship with yourself is the template for all other relationships. It's knowing that the person who cannot bear their own company will inevitably become a burden to others. Why is this solitude essential for those who work hard in silence? Because it's in these quiet moments that you develop the clarity to distinguish between what you truly want and what you've been conditioned to want. It's where you discover the difference between ambitions that serve your authentic self and those that merely serve your ego. Solitude strips away pretense and reveals truth. How do you cultivate this sacred relationship with solitude? Begin by scheduling regular periods of complete quiet, no entertainment, no distractions, no external input. Use this time not for planning or analyzing, but for simply being present with whatever arises in your consciousness. Learn to observe your thoughts without immediately acting on them. I knew a physician who, despite his demanding schedule, spent 1 hour every morning in complete silence before his family woke. During this time, he neither read nor planned his day. He simply sat quietly and observed his thoughts. Colleagues wondered how he maintained such calm composure during medical emergencies. The answer lay in those daily appointments with solitude, which had taught him to remain centered regardless of external chaos. 8. The discipline of detachment. The greatest paradox of human achievement is that the more desperately you grasp for success, the more likely it is to slip through your fingers. But when you learn to hold your ambitions lightly, pursuing them with full intensity while remaining unattached to specific outcomes, you create the conditions where extraordinary results become almost inevitable. What is the discipline of detachment? It's the ability to pour your complete effort into worthy pursuits while remaining emotionally independent from their results. It's understanding that you control your actions but not their consequences, your efforts but not their reception, your choices but not their ultimate impact on the world. Why does this detachment paradoxically lead to better results? Because attachment creates anxiety, and anxiety clouds judgment. When you're desperately attached to specific outcomes, you make decisions based on fear rather than wisdom. Detachment frees you to act from clarity, to take calculated risks, to persist through setbacks without being destroyed by them. How do you develop this discipline? By recognizing that your worth as a human being is independent of your achievements, by finding satisfaction in the process rather than only in the outcome, by treating success and failure as equally valuable teachers rather than as measures of your personal value. I observed a merchant who approached every business venture with complete dedication while remaining equally prepared for success or failure. When ventures succeeded, he neither celebrated excessively nor became overconfident. When they failed, he neither despaired nor became discouraged. This emotional equilibrium allowed him to make better decisions, learn faster from mistakes, and ultimately achieve far greater success than competitors who were enslaved by their emotional reactions to results. 9. Invisible excellence. The highest form of mastery is that which operates so smoothly it appears effortless, so naturally it seems inevitable, so perfectly it draws no attention to itself. This is the excellence of those who have transcended the need for recognition and found something far more valuable, the deep satisfaction of work performed with complete integrity. What is invisible excellence? It's the commitment to performing every task, no matter how small or unobserved, with the same level of care you would bring to your most important public performance. It's understanding that excellence is not a performance for others, but a conversation between you and the highest version of yourself. Why does this invisible approach lead to visible results? Because excellence, like water, seeks its own level. When you consistently operate from this place of hidden mastery, it eventually becomes impossible to conceal. People begin to notice something different about your work, your presence, your character, even if they cannot immediately identify what that difference is. How do you cultivate invisible excellence? By treating every moment as an opportunity to practice mastery. Polish your skills in private with the same intensity others reserve for public performances. Prepare more thoroughly than circumstances require. Respond to challenges with more grace than the situation demands. I witnessed a chef who worked in a small, unremarkable establishment but approached every meal with the dedication of an artist. While other cooks focused on speed and efficiency, he focused on perfection, selecting ingredients with extraordinary care, preparing each dish as if it were his masterpiece. Word of his exceptional food spread quietly through the community, and eventually the world's finest restaurants competed for his services. His invisible excellence had created visible opportunities. 10. The silent triumph. The ultimate victory is not the one celebrated with fanfare and applause, but the one achieved in the quiet chambers of your own heart when you realize you have become the person you set out to be. This triumph cannot be stolen, diminished, or made meaningless by changing circumstances because it exists entirely within the realm of your own character. What constitutes a silent triumph? It's the moment when you recognize that your external circumstances no longer dictate your internal state. It's when you realize that you respond to insults with compassion, to setbacks with resilience, to success with humility. It's the victory of becoming someone who can be trusted with both power and vulnerability. Why is this triumph superior to all others? Because it's the only victory that makes you more rather than less. External triumphs often corrupt, making victors arrogant, isolated, or paranoid about losing what they've gained. But the silent triumph of character development makes you more generous, more wise, more capable of genuine joy and meaningful relationship. How do you achieve this silent triumph? By understanding that it's not a destination, but a direction. Every day offers new opportunities to choose character over convenience, wisdom over cleverness, virtue over victory. The triumph lies not in reaching some final state of perfection, but in the ongoing commitment to growth. I remember an elderly carpenter who had worked for 60 years without ever seeking fame or recognition. As he neared retirement, young craftsmen from around the region began seeking him out, drawn by something they couldn't quite name. In conversation, it became clear that he had achieved something rare, complete alignment between his values and his actions, his inner life and his outer work. He had become what he had always aspired to be, a master not just of his craft, but of himself. This was his silent triumph, and it made everything else he had achieved seem like preparation for this final victory.